about 30,000 fishermen that jump into the river.
They must have suffocated the fish.
Information Minister presents Argungu Fishing Festival portraits to President Buhari, vows to use cultural festivals to foster unity and generate wealth.
The position we now occupy is seen as the hallmark of integrity and moral rectitude.
Live within your means to avoid temptations, Chief Justice of Nigeria advises newly sworn-in judges. And more bandits fall to firepower of Nigeria military as Chief of Army Staff inspects barrack in Sokoto. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. My name is Kenan Ima Abodike. Also reading with me tonight is Michael Olaleye in our Lagos Network Center. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has restated the commitment of the Buhari administration towards the revival and sustenance of Nigeria's major cultural festivals for job creation as well as enhanced national unity. The minister stated this while briefing journalists after presenting a portrait of Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festival to President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo was also there.
The recent Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festival in Kebbi State was held in March 2020. Last celebrated 11 years ago, the festival, 24th in its series, was a unique celebration of remarkable progress achieved in the restoration of peace and security in northwest Nigeria.
Today, by the grace of God, this festival is back, and I hope back for good. We must therefore continue to encourage, support, and promote such festivals. You have truly made me proud.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed and his Water Resources counterpart Suleiman Adamu are here to formally present a portrait of the festival to President Muhammadu Buhari.
There are about 30,000 fishermen that jump into the river.
They must have suffocated the fish.
As part of UNESCO's World Heritage List, the Argungu Fishing Festival is one of the only two cultural events recognized by the UN organ in Nigeria.
You know, this government, we've always been very insistent that the creative industry must be supported and must be promoted, because after agriculture, it is the largest employer of labor, and it employs largely women and youth. So the cultural aspect of the creative industry is what is being manifested yearly in the annual Argungu Festival, and we continue to support this industry and have Mr. President's support. He was quite excited about the portrait because he was able to see what kind of jobs can be created through these cultural festivals.
Already, he said, his ministry has published a national calendar of festivals to be distributed to foreign embassies in Nigeria as well as the nation's missions abroad. The minister promised that the federal government will continue to put a lot of emphasis on the promotion of the nation's creative industry, especially tourism and hospitality, film, music, as well as population and broadcasting.
The government has done a lot to support the media, especially the broadcast industry, during this pandemic. You notice the first thing we did was to give a waiver of 2 months payment of license fees to all broadcasting houses between May and July. After which, we gave an amnesty, a 60% discount or debt forgiveness for all broadcast houses except the pay TVs, and also slashed by 30% the licensing fees because of the COVID-19. And I also met with the newspapers, Property Association of Nigeria. We met virtually, and I'm still waiting for them to come and make their submission.
He said the federal government is willing to look into the hardships and the challenges being faced by the media industry with a view to intervening appropriately. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In less than 12 hours from now, Nigeria's Professor Tijani Muhammad Bande will end his tenure as the President of the 74th United Nations General Assembly. Already, Volkan Bozkır from Turkey has emerged President-elect of the 75th UN General Assembly and will be taking over the presidency from tomorrow. A reception to mark the successful end of the 74th session held last week Thursday at the Grand Lobby of UN headquarters in New York. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
The outgoing UN President, Professor Tijani Muhammad, thanked member nations for their support, especially against the pandemic that has decimated the economies and exacerbated poverty and inequality. He notes that the crisis has again shown how interconnected and interdependent the world is, which underscores the need to work together. A career diplomat and politician of nearly 50 years, Volkan Bozkır says he will serve the best interest of the United Nations and its members. He acknowledged the success of the incumbent Tijani Muhammad Bande for his capable stewardship during the extraordinary time of COVID-19.
PGA has built momentum towards the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration. He has also paid particular attention to poverty eradication. I applaud this valuable work and intend to build upon these in the upcoming session.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres loves the General Assembly's skillful guidance, leading to adoption of important resolutions to enhance and ensure access to life-saving medicines and vaccines.
And what I believe is absolutely remarkable is that with all the restrictions that we had, with all the physical impediments that we had, the General Assembly of the United Nations was able to fully deliver in relation to its mandate.
The General Assembly would observe the 75th anniversary of the signing of the Charter on Friday through a virtual meeting that reflects on the UN's fundamental document. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And joining us via Zoom is the outgoing President of the United Nations General Assembly, Professor Tijani Muhammad Bande. Thank you for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Now, how has the last 1 year been for you as President of the 74th United Nations General Assembly?
Thank you very much. I think it has been a very interesting year, an opportunity to serve the world body in a very important capacity, and to also remind others what Africans and Nigerians can do in leading multinational bodies. It has been a very fruitful year. All the important issues that are known to be priority areas for Africa, relating to poverty, relating to peace, relating to inclusion, that are also important to the world, who are pushed through the year, before the pandemic and throughout the period and up to now. It's absolutely important to continue to work to deal with those issues, and we continue to do so.
All right. What has been your most cherished achievement while on the saddle?
Well, I think the most important thing is to get 193 countries to work on really important things, even when they are divided, but also during the pandemic. In particular, the very fact that despite differences, we negotiated hard and were able to have 193 members all agree to the political declaration, which will be signed on to within the following by next week, is absolutely important, because there were really divergences of opinion. We were able to really work hard to remind delegations, big and small, that we need to celebrate, to reflect on what we have done as United Nations, but also to have a forward-looking document, which we did. This was important. The idea of having also consolidated or omnibus resolution dealing with COVID, it was difficult, but we were able to achieve that. But these are just some of the many. But I'm glad that the Poverty Alliance, which we brought as a presidency, is continuing with include membership. This is absolutely important for the goals of Nigeria and Africa, and others have supported it. And this is continuing.
Professor Bande, COVID-19 obviously affected your tenure. So what will you like your successor to build on?
I think listening to colleagues and doing the hard work of negotiation required without watering the strength of what needs to be done, I think is important. He's a very experienced diplomat, and I'm very glad his intention is to focus on post-COVID recovery. Initially, his intention was to do like we did, to focus on critical issues under the SDGs. But in particular, he'll do this, but focusing on post-COVID recovery. And I think this is a very wise thing to do, because now decade of delivery of the SDGs is turning to the decade of recovery. It is absolutely important that he focuses on this, and that's what he wishes to do.
Professor Bande, we wish you well in your next endeavor. Thanks indeed for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
We've been speaking with Professor Tijani Muhammad Bande, the outgoing president of the 74th United Nations General Assembly. Now, moving on. Exactly 6 decades ago, a group of determined nations endowed with a rare but significant natural resource took the bold step of deciding their fate regarding benefits accruing to them. The outcome of the decision, now known as the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has become a household name as far as global supply and pricing of crude oil is concerned. As OPEC marks a significant milestone, correspondent Lydia Sampson looks at the role of OPEC in the new normal.
60 years ago, 5 developing nations, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and Venezuela, gathered in the Al-Shabaab Hall, Baghdad, to decide on a course of action that changed the course of history. They agreed to found the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. The brave and pioneering act of the then 5 countries changed the narrative in the global oil and gas market through an expression of a firm belief that cooperation and dialogue among nations are the most effective means of overcoming the industry's challenges. Though OPEC has faced highs and lows, trials and tribulations, yet 60 years later, it is still a unified intergovernmental organization. The fact that OPEC has evolved and thrived over the last 6 decades is a source of tremendous pride for the entire OPEC family. OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo described the Baghdad conference as not just historic in all senses, but saw the common vision and wisdom of the founder members and led to the creation of a 4-sided organization that grew in stature and influence to become a distinguished entity within the global energy community.
Can help guide our organization and the petroleum industry to a bright and sustainable future despite the huge challenges that we are facing today.
Barkindo said OPEC yet look forward with high anticipation to attend OPEC's homecoming in Baghdad in the very near future. This month, OPEC is also marking the 55th year since the organization's secretariat moved to the Austrian capital of Vienna. OPEC's outreach to non-OPEC partners yielded the historic declaration of cooperation, further elevated by the Charter of Cooperation. These historic decisions constitute a determination by 23 oil-producing countries to take the collective actions necessary whenever to contribute to oil market stability. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And to judicial matters now, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, says if judges learn to live within their means, there will be very little room for temptation in carrying out their judicial functions. He stated this while swearing in 11 new judges for the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. Femi Okewon reports.
In the last 3 years, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has lost about 15 judges to promotion to the Court of Appeal, retirement, and even death. For a court that has the second highest docket of cases in its plate next to Lagos, the swearing in of 11 judges by the Chief Justice of Nigeria comes as a big relief. Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad called on the new judges to see their appointment as a call to national service and not an outlet for personal gains.
The position you now occupy is seen as the hallmark of integrity and moral rectitude. Your passion for those conducts that may easily fail integrity test must begin to diminish.
And the judges are well aware of the task ahead.
As I subscribed before man and God that we will do right to all manners of persons without fear or favor, and I will stand by it.
It's really good, very good, and I'm thankful to God Almighty. This is the day that the Lord has made, and indeed I'm rejoicing and I'm glad in it.
I've always wanted to be a judge. I don't like oppression. I want people to be treated properly.
The judges are to immediately commence a 2-month training and orientation, a program which the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Ishaq Bello, says will lead them into the reality of their new calling.
You must be conscious of your dress code. This is very important. It's part of the things that makes the judges here to stand out wherever they go.
And now with this set of judges sworn in, the clamor by Nigerians for a quicker dispensation of justice is gradually being met. There is, however, still a yearning gap for the vacancies that exist at the various levels of courts in Nigeria. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
In the meantime, a draft of the Data Protection Bill 2020 has been validated by key players in the digital identity sector ahead of its transmission to the National Assembly. The bill, a brainchild of the Legal and Regulatory Working Group of the Digital Identity Ecosystem Project, seeks to promote a code of practice that ensures the privacy and protection of personal data. Victor Azu reports.
Nigeria is in the process of digital identification of its population for development purposes, with data capture of 42 million people already done. And then the issue of data security and privacy becomes necessary to earn the trust of citizens and consequently their maximum cooperation.
In order to adequately control the capture, storage, management and use of data and to protect us from abuses.
This explains why the Legal and Regulatory Working Group of the Digital Identity Ecosystem Project introduced the Data Protection Bill 2020. But it must address all concerns, hence the need for this gathering dominated by lawyers, ICT experts and auditors among others to subject it to stakeholder scrutiny.
Stakeholder consultation and involvement is critical to ensuring effective reforms and smoother implementation of any legislation.
Key players having made their input, the Legal Regulatory Working Group must now make the most of it.
The Legal Working Group will go back after this exercise to look at each and every comment that has been submitted.
The next stage will be to transmit it to the National Assembly for legislative approval. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
It's time for a commercial break. When we return, stories on COVID-19 and more will come your way. Stay with us.
Leave that house now.
Stay where you are. You are going nowhere.
Blockbuster movies like this, series and much more. Download the
Airtel TV app.
Mr. Announcer, you know that them say this film is still there on top of fire. And you say me, we still the shoot, so.
Download the Airtel TV app from Apple and Android Play Store. Enjoy up to 1.5 gigabyte free data monthly. Airtel TV by Airtel, the smartphone network.
On behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, I want to use this auspicious moment to send a message of goodwill to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, on the occasion of its 60th anniversary today. OPEC came into existence on 14 September 1960, during what is now known as the Baghdad Conference. The founding members were Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. In those 60 eventful years, OPEC has weathered daunting challenges, political, economic, and even technological. The latest of such challenges being the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the global economy in general and the oil market in particular. Thanks to its unity of purpose and the pragmatism of its leaders, such as Saudi Arabia and others, OPEC is still standing strong and as united as ever. Unlike other challenges before now, OPEC is already well on its way to weathering the COVID-19 pandemic, having survived a price regime of -0 to a decent $40 per barrel today. In 60 years, OPEC has grown into a global icon and a symbol of enduring resilience. I therefore salute the vision and doggedness of the OPEC member countries. I salute our allies, the OPEC Plus members, such as Russia, and of course the administrative head of OPEC, our own son, of whom we are very proud, His Excellency Mohammed Sanusi Bakindo. So happy 60th anniversary to OPEC. As always, Nigeria's commitment to the ideals and principles of OPEC shall remain unshakable through thick and thin. Thank you and God bless you.
What's wrong with you? You just scratched my car with your pangolo. I said, who scratched who? You scratched me. I did not scratch you.
What's wrong with this old man with you that scratch? Uncle, please, I beg, give me your phone.
And I'm going to the police. Who's the police? The director of the DSS is my cousin's husband. The head of service is my sister's fiance.
Uncles, please, why the scratch is so bad, very nice. Please, can we go? Can we go?
Now, that's it.
Find your first with the best data plans in town. Dial *777#. Glow Unlimited.
The Nigerian Army invites applications from eligible Nigerians for commission into the Nigerian Army as Shore Service Combatant and Direct Shore Service Commission officers. Applicants must be Nigerian, male or female. The ages for Short Service Combatant is between 23 and 27, while those applying for Direct Shore Service Commission must be between ages 20 and 30, and medical consultants should not be more than 40 years of age by January 2021. They must be physically, mentally, and medically fit according to Nigerian Army standards. To apply, log on to www.recruitment.army.mil.ng. Upload a passport photograph, educational certificate, birth certificate or declaration of age, and certificate of state of origin. Follow the prompt and complete the application process. Then print out an online generated photo slip or card. All applications must be completed and submitted online not later than 29th September 2020. Military Secretary, Army Announcer.
Refresh your confidence with the liquid filled Center Fresh gum. Center Fresh. Trust the freshness. Ready to be one of our 2005 daily winners? Win cash prizes and airtime daily with Center Fresh and fruits. Check the back, text the code to 38353. 10,000 Naira and 5,000 Naira daily cash prizes to be won, as well as 100 Naira daily airtime. Campaign runs from the 1st of September till the 31st of October 2020. Terms and conditions apply.
mama for you.
I go tell your mama for you.
Just wait, I go tell your mama for you. Make you wear your mask. If not, I go tell your mama.
Thank you for staying with us. Ahead of Saturday's governorship election in Edo State, national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has urged voters in the state to support the APC governorship candidate, Pastor Izeyamu.
I want to appeal as a committed Democrat and a leader of all Democrats, regardless of political party, to our conscience and our commitment to democracy today on the forthcoming election in Edo State. I want to appeal to you to reject Godwin Obaseki in this coming election. I have suffered with many others to bring about this democratic regime that today we are enjoying in the country. Then, Godwin Obaseki didn't participate in any aspect of the struggle to enshrine democracy in the country. Therefore, he could not understand the value and the pains that was associated with this democratic struggle. He was elected a governor by you people of Great Edo State because he presented himself to you then as a Democrat, and he was sworn in after winning the election. No one prevented him from being sworn in. Thereafter, members of State Assembly who got elected along with him, specifically 24 of them. Out of these 24, he prevented 14 of them from being sworn in. He demonstrated the act of dictatorship, lack of respect for rule of law, lack of respect for you, the people who voted for those legislators prevented from being sworn in. Legislators prevented from being sworn in.
Now, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has endorsed the move by state governments to reopen schools, saying they are at liberty to do so within the current third phase of East lockdown, but with strict enforcement of COVID-19 protocols. The task force, however, warns that any schools seen flouting COVID-19 guidelines will be shut down. Obituaries reports.
Low COVID-19 positivity rate in the country is one of several factors considered by the PTF to allow the reopening of schools from primary to tertiary levels in the third phase of eased lockdown.
You may have heard several states begin to make moves around reopening. They are all in order, and everybody should then begin the processes of reopening. However, they must be guided. They must make the provisions that we've required. That in every state we have quality assurance personnel that are reporting to the Federal Ministry of Education, and we will not hesitate to shut down any place that is not in compliance.
All airports in Nigeria are now open for flights, for domestic flights, including those that are in private charter operations, will no longer need approvals from us to go domestically, to operate within domestic airports, in all government-approved airports and in all government-owned airports.
For PTF Chairman Boss Mustafa, declining COVID-19 statistics indicate Nigeria is winning the fight against the pandemic, but he was quick to seek greater commitment from citizens to all non-pharmaceutical guidelines to completely eliminate the virus.
Our national response under the guidance of Mr. President is achieving impressive results. Our cautious approach has tremendously helped in our containment efforts. Therefore, we should avoid complacency at all costs.
Many states have not sustained the testing rate that will give us the assurance.
To compensate for the risks of infection that come with the eased lockdown, the PTF appeals for strict adherence to all its COVID-19 prevention protocols. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The Fiscal Responsibility Commission agrees that there is need for governments to look at key reforms that aim at internally generated revenue for the country post-COVID-19. To this end, the Commission is bringing together stakeholders in resource generation and management for the next 7 days to brainstorm on ways of ensuring that the lean resources and the economic challenges brought by the COVID-19 are well managed. Moplang Dakok tells us more.
This is obviously not the best of times for Nigeria's economy as the COVID-19 forced down oil production and reduced price of oil, leaving the country with significant medium-term fiscal challenges, especially with respect to revenues.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act requires the remittance of operating surplus to the CRF. We have already released reports showing that a lot of agencies, this government enterprise, are in default. So we expect better revenue monitoring exercises.
The resources are not there as they used to be. So it now behoves on us to ensure that the little that you have should be applied properly. Otherwise, we are not going to go anywhere.
This is why participants at this retreat are strategizing on ways of achieving fiscal sustainability and macro-fiscal objectives of government, especially in the implementation of key reforms that will improve revenue collection and expenditure management.
If you want something good, you go all out for it. In turn, you save costs. So I think we need to be equipped so that we know what to do to revive the economy once again.
I believe at the end of the training, I'll be better off. I believe the training will provide the opportunity for me to deepen my understanding.
Recommendations at the end of the retreat are to complement efforts of government in stimulating the economy post-COVID-19. In Abuja, Moplang Dakok, NTA News.
In a drive towards attainment of economic diversification policy through the agricultural sector, the federal government has set aside 600 billion naira to boost dry season farming in the country amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Sabo Nanono, stated this during the inauguration of Agri-Business Incubation Center at the Federal University Dutse, Jigawa State. Awal Mohammed Kazaure has details.
The establishment of the Agri-Business Incubation Center by the federal government in collaboration with Association of Deans of Agriculture in Nigeria was informed by the desire to promote food and raw materials production that will in near future guarantee food security in Nigeria. Inaugurating the incubation center, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Sabo Nanono says government is pushing for mechanized agriculture in the country to boost production for export. He explained that government will soon ban importation of milk and fish to enhance local production.
What would have happened was this still were depending on the importation of rice. Well, we wouldn't have even the money to import rice because the price of oil has gone down. To buy oil is the price of water. So obviously, that aspect has demonstrated that this country can produce and can industrialize.
We have built entrepreneurs that this center will help us to train some more and to increase the level and to analyze the result and help us see how we can improve.
The Vice Chancellor of Federal University Dutse, Professor Fatima Batul Mukhtar, described the center as knowledge driven with the potential to maximize the benefits of the agricultural value chain. While in Dutse, the minister has paid courtesy calls on Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar and the Emir of Dutse, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sunusi, where he commended Jigawa State for taking the lead in sesame production, as well as the largest livestock market in the country. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Turning now to security matters, the air component of Operation Hadarin Daji under subsidiary Operation Wutan Daji has destroyed another armed bandit camp in the Dombaru forest area of Zamfara State. The Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the airstrike was executed on 13 September 2020 and resulted in the killing of several armed bandits belonging to the gang led by the so-called Dangote. The target was designated for attack following confirmatory human intelligence reports and aerial surveillance missions, which indicated that Dangote and some of his members, along with their logistics and rustled livestock, had established a new camp on the southern edge of the forest. Nigerian Air Force attack aircraft engaged the target area, scoring accurate hits, neutralizing several bandits, while some of their structures were seen engulfed in flames. Human intelligence sources later revealed that several of Dangote's followers were neutralized in the airstrike. Now, the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Yusuf Buratai, has inspected some ongoing projects at the Gengeya Army Barracks. Mohammed Dati reports that the Chief of the Army Staff was conducted round by the GOC 8th Division, Sakoto.
Lieutenant General Tukuru Yusuf Buratai was on operational visit to the 8th Division Nigerian Army, Sokoto, to assess the ongoing projects. The projects inspected by the Army Chief include 8th Division Hospital, Army Staff Quarters, and the ongoing construction of the GOC's house at Woodna Road, Sokoto. Lieutenant General Buratai was also at the Government House, Sokoto, where he had discussions with the State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. 3 Army commanders and Director Army Public Relations were on the Army Chief's entourage. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Riga Chikun Bridge, which was closed down 2 weeks ago for rehabilitation, is finally reopened to traffic. Abdullahi Mohammed reports that motorists plying the Kaduna-Zaria highway have demonstrated their happiness in different ways.
A bumper catch for the fishing boys under the Riga Chikun Bridge and the slamming of the almighty articulated vehicle horn. An indication of a huge sigh of relief for motorists plying the Riga Chikun Bridge. Down memory lane takes you to the reasons for the euphoria. 2 weeks back, a portion of the bridge caved in. Thousands of motorists were trapped in a gridlock that followed, and an initial fix failed. Since then, motorists are left to ply one lane of the bridge, and that's frustrating.
It is not easy.
It took 15 days for the 2 bridges to function at the same time. That's why people like Abubakar are grateful.
So we are enjoying what is happening. We thank God for the federal government of Nigeria. We thank God for the company that come for this repair.
The bridge is not only open to traffic, but with a series of safety measures in place. With the rails of the bridge gone, temporary barriers are established.
Now that this bridge is fixed and traffic is allowed through, the engineers who focus their energy on fixing the alternative bridge, which has been the saving grace for the past 2 weeks. It is clearly in distress. To protect those people and machines who work on this bridge, the contractors now is planning to demarcate the bridge into 2 lanes, which is going to block 1 lane and now only 1 for traffic into Kaduna. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Federal government commences upgrade of police barracks in Lagos to improve welfare of officers and men of the force. For this and more, let's join Michael in our Lagos Network Center. Hello, Michael. Network Center. Hello, Michael.
Oh, Kene. 8 passengers narrowly escaped death in the early hours of Monday when a Volkswagen T4 bus rammed into a moving train in Lagos. Our Yusuf Jibo reports.
There are various level crossings within the Lagos metropolis along the Lagos-Ibadan rail line, linking different locations. But on a day like this vehicle ran out of luck while trying to navigate the road at PWD Inward Oshodi. The vehicle ran into a moving train and was dragged along a stretch covering 4 kilometers. The Director General of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Olufemi Okeosanyintolu, who confirmed the incident, said the situation has been brought under control with no loss of life recorded. The wreckage at the scene of the accident has been safely removed to allow for a free flow of traffic, while passengers have been provided with on-the-spot medical care and discharged. A similar accident occurred in 2018 when a train fell off its trail in Agege area of the state. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Now to upgrade of police barracks. Plans by the federal government to upgrade police barracks nationwide have begun to materialize with the visit of the chairman of Police Trust Fund and former Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, to some dilapidated barracks and facilities in Lagos. Nosa Usula has the report.
The chairman of the Police Trust Fund, who was accompanied on the inspection tour by the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumusu, and the Commissioner in charge of Works, Department of Logistics and Supply, Aliu Abubakar, assessed the condition of Obalende and Ije Barracks at Obalende area, the Mopo 20 Police Barracks, and Police College at Ikeja.
The most important thing is anything that will make your life more comfortable. The Police Trust Fund, particularly the Board of Trustees, which I chair, will make sure that we do it. Thank you, sir. And this is because President Muhammadu Buhari, who made this trust fund a reality. All of us who are Inspectors General of Police had been looking forward to the day when this trust fund will become a reality.
The President Buhari-led administration had deemed it fit to kickstart the trust fund to improve the Nigeria police, especially in the areas of training, welfare, and a host of others for more reinforced internal security of the country. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports with Kenne shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
We don't almost reach, Abby. Okay. Guys, the mechanic is almost here.
Madam!
What do you think is wrong?
Madam, not be smart to worry what is this your bike? Carburetor and radiator, you don't papuka. If you want fix up, 50,000.
I guess I have no choice. Give me size 10 Allen Q.
Madam, the top don't spoil now. You need to buy new one. New one at 16,000.
Thanks for the help, guys. I'll be on my way now. For renting your tools.
Do what you've never done before. Find your first with these mega data plans. Dial *777#.
At Elizade Autoland, we don't just sell quality, we build quality. JAC Motors, assembled in Nigeria by Elizade Autoland. High demand for fleets of JAC Motor brands by members of the public and private sectors. JAC Motors are clearly built with one purpose in mind. They are built to serve. Elizade Autoland, sole distributor of JAC Motors in Nigeria.
Really good.
Make a load recharge card, I beg. I don't find the money.
Plenty day to win for the 9 Mobile Mega Millions promo. 1 million naira for one person every day for 90 days. 2 smartphones every hour, every day for 90 days. 10 million naira star price day. New customers just come with side or buy a new line, and we go send you free 1 gigabyte plus 500 naira airtime. So make you the recharge 200 naira or more. Make you for the win.
9 Mobile.
Tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness. Tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness. Tough on stains with longer lasting freshness. New Omo Extra Fresh with longer lasting freshness.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat trick today.
Cool.
Wow.
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this.
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works. Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works.
Welcome back as we go to aviation, where Ibom Air, one of Nigeria's finest and fastest growing airline, has commenced daily commercial flight operations from Lagos and Abuja to Enugu. Ibom's Air Chief Operating Officer, Mr. George Uriesi, who promised its customers of excellent services, said in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, the airline ensures that its passengers observe all the COVID-19 protocols to enhance their safety and well-being. Chinenyemoye now reports.
And this is the latest Ibom Air aircraft deployed to commence daily commercial flights from Lagos and Abuja to Enugu. On arrival, before boarding their flights, the passengers observed all the COVID-19 protocols. Ibom Air, which is owned by the Akwa Ibom State government, began its flight operations in June 2019. And just barely 1 year of its existence, the airline has elevated and redefined domestic air travels within Nigeria with its state-of-the-art aircraft to service various routes. Enugu State Governor, represented by his deputy Cecilia Ezilo, inaugurated the Ibom Air flight from Lagos to Enugu in the presence of some government and fan officials. Chief Operating Officer Ibom Air said the launch of the flight is part of the company's organic expansion program.
We have new, very nice, comfortable, clean aircraft with the longest leg room in the business. When we say this is our schedule, it's our schedule, we keep to it. To give people the opportunity to be able to schedule their travel efficiently.
Other officials of the airline who spoke reassured its guests of unparalleled hospitality that Ibom Air has been known for.
Enugu has capacity, and we believe that we can be of service for them. We have a lot of customers here. We're here to fill a need, and the need is to give prompt travel experience to our travelers. So our promise is schedule reliability, on-time departure, and superior services.
We're very excited to welcome Ibom Air to Enugu State.
No, I'm highly impressed because of the success.
I want to welcome and congratulate Ibom Air.
This airline had, in less than 1 year, flown to 4 major cities, and Enugu is the 5th city for domestic flight operation. From the Akano Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, Chinenyemoye, NTA News.
The Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, has enjoined Muslims to always embrace dialogue for peaceful coexistence as well as imbibe the spirit of giving for the promotion and development of Islam. The Sultan was speaking at the official commissioning of the National Mosque Shopping Mall in Abuja. Rosemary Morteling Bilal has the details.
The mini shopping mall, which was built through an out-of-court settlement between National Mosque and Asaba Group of companies, attracted dignitaries from all over the country. Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, commended the management of the mosque for a job well done.
Call on all of us to continue to contribute to the development of Islamic sites like masjid and other schools.
FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello, represented by the Executive Secretary, FCDA, Umar Gambo Jibrin, also commended the initiative behind the project.
The construction of this mall is intended not only to improve the aesthetic value of the city of Abuja, but also to boost the local economy of the territory.
Indeed, the journey has been long and full of obstacles. Alhamdulillah, today we are here to commission the fruit of that long and tedious journey.
Really happy today is our day.
Very sincerity, we very appreciate for this welcome development.
The shopping mall, which has a pharmacy, 2 restaurant offices and 4 to 5 shops for boutique and general merchandise, is to operate between 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Rosemary Molteleng Bilal, NTA News.
Our next set of stories will come from our Maiduguri Network Center, where Mohammed is standing by.
Thank you, Kenna, and welcome to Maiduguri. Internally displaced persons of Banki, a commercial town in Bama local government, are billed to be resettled next month as part of the ongoing resettlement of dislodged communities in Borno State. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum made this known during an assessment visit to the border community in company of the Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Senator Bashir Garba Mohammed, and officials of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Mohammed Goni reports.
Banki town was overrun by the insurgents in 2014, compelling the citizens to flee for safety, most of whom are taking refuge at Minawao camp in Cameroon Republic. After the liberation of the border community, IDPs camp was established in the township where citizens from Banki and other communities are taking refuge. Borno State government has since commenced reconstruction and rehabilitation of homes and public facilities to pave the way for eventual resettlement. Governor Babagana Umar said the population in the Banki town IDPs camp is growing in a geometrical ratio. There is therefore the need to allow IDPs occupy their homes in the community.
There is ongoing agitation from the people of Banki who are residing in Minao camp to come back home. We are here to examine the situation on ground with a view to resettling them back home.
I'm happy to appreciate the level of progress and development that has been achieved by His Excellency in this local government, and I can now go back and report what we have set out to achieve will be done in good time.
As part of the visit, Governor Zulum and the Federal Commissioner held talks with the military officials based there, where a wide range of security issues were discussed. From Banki town in Bama local government, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
In a related development, Nigerian refugees in Niger Republic have been assured of safe and dignified return home in no distant future. This came to light when Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum in company of federal government officials visited refugees from Borno State taking refuge in Difa province of Niger Republic. Memna Garba reports that officials from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and that of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons were part of the governor's entourage.
Adam local government area in northern Borno was among communities overrun by the insurgents, compelling residents to take refuge in Difa province of Niger Republic in the last 5 years. Although the host country has given them a sense of belonging, the Nigerian refugees have continued to appeal to the Nigerian authorities to return them home. Hence the visit to reassure them of government's commitment. Governor Babagana Umara and Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Bashir Garba Mohammed, reassured them of the authorities' commitment to resettle them in their communities of origin.
Federal government under the leadership of President Buhari, Government of Borno State, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, as well as the Federal Refugee Commission, will do everything possible to ensure return of displaced communities to their hometowns in a dignified manner.
The governor, who visited Niger 4 times in the course of refugees, also informed them that the state government will give them stipends to enable them procure food items while efforts are being made to evacuate them. The Nigerian officials also appreciated the host country for the hands of brotherhood. Some of the refugees expressed joy over the visit, saying it will pave the way for their return home to normal life. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Maiduguri. Is back to Kenya in Abuja.
This boy, I could tell your mama for you.
I go tell your mama for you.
Just wait, I go tell your mama for you. Make you wear your mask. If not, I could tell your mama.
In these uncertain times, one thing's certain. We're in this together. So Clean Protect, the antibacterial detergent that removes 99.9% germs while it cleans. Because germ-free clean is the real clean that we all need. Do your best to protect your family. So Clean Protect.
President Muhammadu Buhari has extended condolences to the Akinwale family on the passing of Professor Ayo Akinwale, a senior lecturer in the Department of Performing Arts, University of Ilorin. In a statement, the president joins the university community, numerous Franks students and former students in mourning the Ibadan-born academic who made outstanding contributions to the development of the performing arts in Nigeria in a career spanning over 4 decades on stage, screen, lecture rooms and the airwaves. The president notes that the scholarly works of the accomplished thespian, playwright and versatile producer preserved on films and published books will continue to inspire and delight audiences in years to come. He prays for the peaceful repose of the soul of the departed and comfort for all who mourn. Death has occurred of Chief John Okeke Ozemena Ozo Ikenna of Amakofia Autonomous Community Ukeher, Iboititi, local government area of Edo State. He is aged 86. A statement by the family indicates that there will be funeral mass for the repose of his soul on Thursday, 10th September 2020 at the Archangel Catholic Police Chapel, Maitama, Abuja. His remains will be laid to rest on Friday, 18th September 2020 after the funeral mass at St. Peter's Catholic Church, Ipoguke at 11 o'clock in the morning, while funeral ceremony takes place on Saturday, 19th September 2020. He is survived by many children, amongst whom is Chijioke Ozemene and an Abuja-based legal practitioner. May his soul rest in peace. And that's the network news tonight. Thanks for watching. My name is Kenan Ima Abolike. Good night.